Hello there. Today there wasn't much to watch, but then I saw Netflix's new Spy Kids film and thought I would give it a try. I liked the original as a kid and saw Zachary Levi and thought, hey, why not? Spy Kids Armageddon was written by Robert Rodriguez and Racer Max and directed by Rodriguez. Terrence and Nora Torres are the world's top spy couple. They work for the OSS and guard a secret AI key called the Armageddon code. Its user can access any digital network in the world. When a mastermind called the King gains access to the code, their kids Tony and Patty have to become spies to help save their parents and the world. The film stars Zachary Levi as Terrence, Gina Rodriguez as Nora, Connor Esterson as Tony, Everly Carganilla as Patty, and Billy Magnuson as the King. This film and its story do not follow any kind of logic. The characters can do anything, the entire landscape of the film can change in seconds, and everything works out the way the film says it should, no matter how ridiculous it is. The story feels incredibly contrived, and the writing is on par with a soap opera. It's hard to get invested in the film because literally anything could happen, and yet there doesn't seem to be any stakes present anywhere in the film. The villain doesn't kill or seriously harm anyone, his evil plan involves making people play video games, and the young heroes never fail at any challenges anyway. The villain has half of a plan. He's going to use the key to spread his game everywhere. This somehow makes him king of the world, and that's where the explanation stops. The entire story is like the villain's plan. It has a decent premise at the heart of it, but none of it is fleshed out or worked through properly. It feels hastily written and poorly edited. The characters aren't properly fleshed out either, and end up feeling like stereotypes. Most of their dialogue involves kid-friendly humor and cliches. Honestly, I wasn't sure who to root for because a world where you have to solve games to do anything sounds awesome to me. This film underutilizes most of its cast. It has a lot of good actors in it, but it has them play stereotypes and work through stiff dialogue. It also never gives any of them the time they need to work through the emotions of the story. Most of the screen time ends up going to the Torres children, played by Connor Esterson and Everly Carganilla, and the two of them do a decent job of their roles. Patty is a goody two-shoes and Tony likes to cheat. Outside of that, they're both generic Mary Sues. They can do anything, they're good at games, and they have a ton of technical knowledge that they like to monologue with. Next we have Levi and Rodriguez competing with Magnuson for third place. Levi plays Terrence, the father of the family, and a bit of a goofball. It felt like a return to Chuck for Levi, and he plays it well. He has good chemistry with Rodriguez and tries his best to work through the emotions. Rodriguez plays his wife, Nora. She's a hothead with a shoot first, ask questions later attitude. Despite this, she also makes quite a few decent jokes and also shows off a charismatic and likable persona. Billy Magnuson as the King starts off as a charming mastermind, but one who wants to save the world. He tries to be intimidating, but it doesn't work given how non-threatening his plan is. He also has a poor ending to his story. It might be wholesome, but it felt unearned. He has some decent charisma, but fails to make the role memorable in any other way. Visually, this film is about half CGI and half real sets in production. The actors spend most of the film on sound stages with lots of CGI being used to create all the technology and design big chunks of the background. They mix in some real props and green screen backgrounds too. The journey is easy enough to follow, but the CGI portions look kind of silly and the fight scenes and the action moments are a little boring. Standard kicks and punches with a few gadgets spread throughout the film. There are also a lot of CGI screens and people tapping on keyboards like they've never seen one before. There aren't any standout scenes or visuals. Sound-wise, the film makes use of action-adventure style background instrumentals. They fit the atmosphere and the mood of the scenery fairly well and try to amplify the emotions where they can. They tend to be a bit generic though. This movie and its soundtrack sound like any other action-adventure movie, and as an aesthetic choice it feels very safe and boring. The music ends up fading into the background for most of the film and not standing out at all. Overall, Spy Kids Armageddon is a cheap remake of the original. They tweaked the story a little bit, came up with a less charismatic villain, spent way less time developing the characters, and way more time exposition dumping and doing montages. The visuals are a CGI creation that don't stand out in any way, and the soundtrack is a generic action-adventure mix. They even cut the cast's performances short of any real emotion. If you want to watch a Spy Kids movie, go watch the original. Seriously, it's just a better version of this. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 3 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye-bye.